Hello, everyone, and welcome to our January 2022 energy update. My name is Corey Davidson, and I am joined here by Yaila Weddle and Peyton Croning. And we are here to talk about the energies of January 2022. And if you haven't seen our videos before, we have so many videos that we have put out, and we hope that you will take a look at all of them. And our social medias will be at the bottom after this video. So let's get a good start. Peyton, let's start with you.
Thanks, Corey. Hey guys, I am Peyton, and I channel the Pleiadians and other multi-dimensional beings. And so every month as we do this energy report, I check in with the Pleiadians to see what they want to tell the collective to prepare us for the month ahead. So when I checked in with the Pleiadians for the month of January, they had some very interesting things to tell us. They wanted us to know, first off, that we have just passed a very important energetic doorway. And so over the past couple of monthly energy reports, they've been talking to us about the importance of the solstice that we just passed through in December. And so what they said is, as we pass that marker, as we pass through the solstice day, basically what happens is that all souls have now chosen their ascension timeline. Every soul has made the decision whether to be on an ascension timeline or whether not to. And this is a very personal choice for every soul. And so the Pleiadians wanted us to know that now all souls have made their final decision. And they said that most of us have chosen to be on an ascension timeline, but that a number of us, as anticipated, decided not to. And so for those beings who chose not to ascend with Gaia and with the collective, the Pleiadians said those souls will be having to move on. They can't remain on Gaia if they don't intend to be on an ascension timeline. So the Pleiadians said that we should be prepared as we move into January for there to be what they called a mass exodus of souls who don't intend to join the rest of us on the ascension journey. And they told us not to be worried about this, not to be sad about this, because this is a very personal choice at the soul level. They said, each of you got your own vote. So everyone will come to the light, move on to the ascension path in their own time, but that for those souls who have not chosen to do that, they will need to be moving on. So the solstice was a very important doorway that we passed through. Some very important soul decisions were made on that day. And so they then kind of turned their focus to those of us who are on an ascension timeline. And probably anyone who is crossing paths with this video has chosen to be on an ascension timeline. And so for those of us who are moving toward an ascension goal, what they wanted us to know was that we now have incredible power at our fingertips to choose how quickly we will be moving in the ascension direction. And so what they encouraged us to do for the month of January is to understand, first off, that the ascension has already occurred. That's one thing that they remind me every time I check in with them, is that all time is now. So one thing they wanted to remind all of us, because as light workers, we are so eager for the new earth, for the ascension to finally happen, that final shift into fifth dimension, fourth density, however you like to look at it. So what the Pleiadians wanted to remind us is that the ascension has already happened. It has already succeeded. We have already moved into the fifth dimension as a collective, and they wanted us to start celebrating that. They say so many light workers are waiting for something to happen, and they say that happens from inside of you. So they wanted us to know that one of the most important things we can do in January is to start visualizing ourselves in that ascended place we have been dreaming of. So if you put your attention or your creative powers on the new earth, or this being in this new world that you've been creating, they say January is the time to do that, because as you practice that, you pull that timeline toward you. And they said that even for those of us who are on an ascension timeline, there are infinite ascension timelines. So you can choose to move very quickly on this timeline, or you can choose a much slower timeline. So for January, what the Pleiadians were encouraging us to do is choose consciously how quickly you want to move forward. They said, we encourage you not to look around at what other people are doing, to make your choice unconsciously as to how fast or how quickly you will move forward. They said a lot of light workers are looking around to other people and getting worried that nothing is happening. They say as you do that, you make that your reality. So they're encouraging us as light workers and star seeds to consciously choose how quickly do you want to ascend? How quickly do you want to be in New Earth? Because that is within your control. So what we put our attention on, what we put our focus on is going to draw that attention or that timeline to us. So that was their biggest advice for the month of January, is to really process and take in that this has already happened. The ascension has happened. We are just catching up with it, essentially. So they encourage us, don't do this on default. Don't do this by looking around at what other people are doing, because you will be matching yourself to lower or slower timelines than what you might otherwise choose. And finally, what they wanted us to do is to start celebrating. They said that we as light workers don't fully appreciate how dramatically we have changed the course of the universe by getting humanity to the point of ascension and through the ascension process. And so they are encouraging us to start celebrating our success now, rather than seeing this as something that will happen someday. So they're encouraging us to step into our creative power, recognize we have already won, we have already done this, the light has triumphed. As they said, there is no going back. The earth is ascending, the earth has ascended, and it's time to start celebrating that, because as light workers, we have worked for this for so long and so hard, and they want us to start realizing it is done. So that was what the Pleiadians had for us for the month of January, because as we celebrate something as being completed, as we put ourselves in the energy that it is manifested, that can only be our experience. So that is what our Pleiadian friends had for us for January. One last thing they had for us was to explain a little bit the intense energies that we have been going through in December. They said these are not going to let up. This is your new normal. So they said these energies are to prepare us for the final shift, that final bump into where we will be fully fifth dimensional, multi-dimensional beings. And these energies are training us to do that. So they said, get used to them. They are not going anywhere. So that is the message that they had for us for January. Yaila, what are you getting as a message for the collective?
Thank you so much, Peyton. I always love the messages from the Pleiades. All right, so let me just tap into the collective really fast. And hopefully my nose isn't too stuffy. I'm getting over a little head cold. So hopefully you can hear me. Okay, so I'm just going to get a reading for, just asking a blessing for anybody tuning into our video tonight, that the information they need to hear and the healing that they can receive is for their highest and best good. And looking at the energy for the month of January 2022, and it looks like they're kind of giving me some overall themes for the upcoming year kind of woven in, but overall the energy looks really bright. I'm seeing like a really bright canary yellow. And when I'm asking why the canary yellow is kind of showing up for the collective, a lot of it is about, I always think of the colors connected to our chakras. So the yellow chakra is our solar plexus. It's our power center. It's kind of what we're doing in the world, who we are. It's the actions that we're taking. It's like our who we show up as, basically. And there's It's our confidence. Sometimes it's competition. So that's kind of what generally your solar plexus ties into. But I'm seeing a really clear, bright yellow color for the collective. And so when I'm asking what that is representing, it's really connecting to just really owning our truth. And I know some of the previous energy reports, they were kind of guiding us to look at that, like what are our values, what do we care about, and this is the year that we're really going to be embodying it. So it seems like, closing out last year, we're really determining what those things were, and this year we're really starting to own our values. We're starting to own what we care about. We're starting to own the boundaries that we had to put up with different relationships and different people. And so it's kind of tying into how we're connecting and how we're relating to each other. So that's kind of the first energy that I'm tapping into for us as a group. And I'm seeing like an energy of, it's almost like a butterfly, like flying on the wind, just kind of like drifting and riding its way through the wind. And when I'm asking what that is, it's calling in more of a flow, where last year felt so much of like a push and a grind and trying to figure things out and being confronted with things. This new year is going to feel more of getting into your own flow, finding your own groove and your own wave, and riding that is kind of the ideal. This is if you're embodying your truth and you're embodying who you want to be and what you value, you're going to be in more flow. And if you're not, you're going to be kind of batted around and swirled around, just like the wind would kind of swirl, something that's not on a direct path. So again, stepping into your truth and what you value for yourself and your life and the people you connect with is going to be really important. And January is kind of like, we're setting up that phase. And obviously I'm not a big New Year's resolutions type of person. We think of coming into the new year, it's like, what are we closing out from 2021? What are we stepping into for 2022? And whether you do resolutions or not, there is always a sense of, okay, what do I want to focus on more now? And so again, thinking of what you're doing in the world, what matters to you. There's going to be an energy of collaboration with other people and really just finding your community. So other people that you really resonate with, that you really, like Peyton was saying in her energy report, the timeline that people have chosen to be on, their ascension timeline, you're going to be connecting with people that chose a similar vibration to you. And it's not that other people that aren't choosing that vibration are right or wrong or good or bad. It's just what's in alignment for you. That's one of my favorite words, is alignment. And it feels like this last year has really brought in a lot of clarity for most of us, whether it was conscious or unconsciously, on what is an alignment, what do we really care about? And when I think of who I am and what I'm being, I also bring in, it's like a sovereignty, it's a freedom. So what helps you feel like you really are in charge of your life? Like these are going to be things that we're going to be thinking about in January as we're setting ourselves up for the rest of the year. And let me just see what else they want to bring in. One of the questions I'm asking is, what are things that we should watch out for? What can we prepare ourselves for January? And they're saying not to lose hope, to keep holding on to your hope and keep holding on to what you care about. And it feels like it's tying into what Peyton was saying with, we might be seeing things in the world that really disappoint us, that really upset us. We've had these last couple of years, a really hard practice run on that, and looking at, what's showing up in the world around us, but not losing our hope for we're here for a reason, and we're choosing, just like that butterfly, finding its path. It's like being in that flow and knowing that you're choosing what you want, knowing and you're choosing that you're on the right path, and not to lose your hope. So your hope and your faith might be tested this month, but not to lose sight of, again, what you truly care about and who you know yourself to be. And if you're not sure of that, January is a really good month to assess that. Who are you? Who do you really want to be in the world? What do you want to be doing? What do you care about? These are things that have kind of been being pulled from the last couple months, but we're really going to be embodying it now in January moving forward. And just asking if there's any last insights or guidance that's really important for us to know. And I'm just hearing the words, you will have the strength. So holding on to, again, what you want to embody and your hope, you will have the strength to do so. As long as you keep your focus on what you care about and honoring your heart, you'll have the strength to hold on to that. And I'm seeing just generally for the year, there is going to be, just like any year, a lot of ups and downs, but it really feels like there's this underlying flow. There's this underlying faith in ourselves, especially, and just connecting with other people to just reinforce, like, okay, I'm not on this journey alone. I'm seeing a lot of collaboration and, honoring our heart, and you can't go wrong. So those are the main messages I'm getting for the collective. How about you, Corey?
Well, ladies, it never ceases to amaze me that we all have similar messages that we get. And so the astrology for January, well, we start right off the bat with a new moon on January 2nd in Capricorn. And so Capricorn is, the sign of integrity. It's also the sign of structures and long-term goals. So the new moon is always when we make new plans, where we manifest what we'd like. And it's also a good energy because it is the sign of, a long-term goal. So this full moon in Capricorn is going to help us. We have a lot of earth signs in a lot of Capricorn energy, and also Taurus energy in January. So we will feel a bit more grounded, so to speak. So the vibes are going to be feeling better in the beginning of January. We will feel like there's a little bit of a reprieve in positive vibes from that Capricorn new moon. But 2022, I'm just going to say overall, 2022, the US has our Pluto return. And that's all the secrets that have been kept coming up to the surface for at least the United States in 2022. And we are going to see a lot of energies. In 2021, we are starting to learn, what we want, what we don't want, a lot of confusion. We had the North Node in Gemini, and the South Node was in Sag, so it was beliefs versus facts. And in 2022, we're going to shift the nodes, which is the collective and what we work towards as a collective. And it's moving to, the North Node will be in Taurus, and the South Node will be in Scorpio. So what that means is that Taurus is also it's an earth sign, so it's a hardworking sign. It rules a lot of the luxuries, the finest things in life. And then with the South Node, it's the things that we're going to let go of. So Scorpio is very emotional. It's very deep emotions, old habits, that we have had for a very long time. So we have that big shift that's happening in 2022. We will also have the Saturn Uranus square in 2021. It hit exact degrees 3 times during the year. And so in 2022, we are also going to have the Saturn Uranus square, but it's not going to be as strong because it won't be exact degrees. So, Saturn rules, institutions, governments, banks, and Uranus is that it rules electricity, basically. So it's the very fast moving planet. So, and then Uranus is also in Taurus. So Taurus, again, it's the slow moving planet. Uranus is very fast. So in the year of 2022 alone, we will see a lot of earthquakes, volcanoes, a lot of weather, because Taurus also rules agriculture and Mother Earth. So we're still going to have a lot of big shifting in the planet, but also a lot is going to be revealed. You know, a lot of hidden secrets from our Pluto return in the United States. A lot of hidden secrets are going to be revealed. So in the beginning of January, we do have Capricorn, the new moon in Capricorn. And so it's a new moon and a new sun, and those will be uplifting vibes. And that's going to be in the beginning of the month, where the vibe's going to be a lot higher. It's going to be intense, but it's not going to be intense in the fact that where it's those lower energies, you know, the lower deep energies. But it's going to be intense because there's going to be a lot of uplift in the energy on the planet in the beginning of January. And we've also moved, Jupiter has moved into Pisces, which is an amazing manifesting energy. So Jupiter is the planet of expansion, and Pisces rules that 12th house, you know, the mystics, spirituality, but it's also the lower energy of that is, you know, drug addiction, alcoholism, self-destruction. So I hope that you will choose the, you know, the higher vibration of that by being able to manifest your connection to spirit or God or, you know, creator of all that is. And that is that higher learning and higher thinking. So that is what is also helping us to have a bit of an uplift in the beginning of January. And that's for the first week, really. But we also have it's a time to really think outside the box, but we also have the moon, Venus, Pluto, Mercury, Saturn in early January will be conjunct. So they'll all be together. And that's an energy of non-conformity. So we will see some of those energies where, you know, people are not going to want to conform to what is happening in the world. And it's those two paths, like Peyton was talking about in the Pleiades, that you know, that there are two paths, you know, that we are still going to choose to take. You know, even though we with the Pleiades, and even though we've chosen it, it's still a lot more is going to be revealed. So we're still going to have to stick to that path. And it's an amazing energy for manifestation, you know, almost instant manifestation with that Jupiter in Pisces. So the early part of January up until the 9th is going to be really positive energy. And then we have Uranus in Taurus, and it's going to be squaring Mercury, the communication planet. It's going to be squaring, and it's Saturn in Aquarius. So there is that square, the Saturn-Uranus square, which is, you know, it creates a volatile energy, unfortunately. So we are going to have a lot of shifting in January, you know, as we get into the second week, third, fourth week of January. That Uranus square is going to be coming up again, and then the Saturn in Aquarius, which is, you know, Aquarius is the humanitarian, you know, sticking together, you know, just like Yaila was reading the energy as well, is, you know, sticking together. It's not 2022 is not going to be one for one man sticking on the island. You know, we all need to the optimum energy is to stick together as a unit, you know, for those people that are like-minded as you are. And then we've got Neptune is going to be squaring Mars also on the same day as the Mercury Saturn. So, it's a brave risk. We're going to have some volatile energy, some strong energy. However, if we can all look at it from a higher perspective and stay above the 3D fray, because we are moving into the Aquarian age. And in order for us to move into that Aquarian age where it's all humanitarianism, the old system is being torn down. And we've seen that the last couple of years. The beginning of our systems as they are no longer working. So in January, and actually January and all of 2022, we're still going to see the taking down of old structures so that we can move into more of the Aquarian age energy, which is humanitarianism. And then we also have the Sun and Pluto in Capricorn with a Taurus moon in the second week of January, and it brings things crashing down. Okay, so we have a Mercury retrograde in January, and it's going to be at the end of the second week of January. And so again, remember to double check if you're traveling, to make sure that you leave early. And communication is going to be wonky. So when you have miscommunications, know that it's Mercury retrograde, and because Mercury is the communication planet. And it's turning retrograde in Aquarius. So it's kind of bringing about an abundance of confusion and doubt. So just know that that is the Mercury retrograde. So if you have self-doubt, if you're confused, it is the energies. Also too is that we have the Gemini moon opposite Mars in Sag. And then it's also going to square Neptune in Pisces. So be careful of jumping to your own defense or jumping and being defensive. It also is an indication of playing the victim, because that Neptune in Pisces has the energies of victimization. So if you could take the higher energy of that and try not to be as defensive. Of course, you may have to defend yourself, but don't become the victim. So and then also we have Uranus and Taurus that's going to be opposing Mercury in Aquarius at the end of January, and it's just it's indicating opposition. So we will see a lot of opposed opinions, a lot of just opposition of any kind. So January is going to be a bit up and down, and it might be a bit combative, but also we have that Jupiter in Pisces, and that is a magnificent energy for manifestation. So and almost instant manifestation. So if and it gives us an opportunity to dream and dream big, right? Dream our reality, dream what we'd like our future to be. We're going to have also, in numerology, it is a 6th year, and the 6th year is about relationships. It's about culminating relationships, staying together as staying in the middle of the herd and finding your herd and developing your relationships with your tribe and who you want to walk in the future with. So let's try and create that as opposed to, a lot is going to be going on in the 3D world. And in order to move into the Aquarian age, which is, peace, love, harmony, and humanitarianism, and higher thinking, and higher learning, and higher being, all these old structures are being torn down. And the energies of January and throughout all of 2022 are supporting this teardown of old systems, enabling us to create a new world. And so Jupiter in Pisces is going to help us manifest that new world. So that's the energy for January and some of 2022. And thank you, ladies, for, as always, we always have, similar energies that we see and read and channel. And thank you all for being here. We really appreciate you. And we do these videos for you. So please like, share, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms, which are going to be below. And we'd love to get some comments from you. We do this for you, like I said, and we want to know what you'd like us to talk about. So if you make your comments to us, and there's plenty of videos also to watch. We'd love to hear your comments. So thank you everyone for this January 2022 energy update, and we will see you soon. Bye for now.